Good morning and welcome back to horse racing today for Hump Day with Hollywood Hay at the spa today. Not that kind of spa. A little bit of technical difficulties getting started, confusion over that first race being canceled. That's all right. We're able to adapt, adjust, and overcome. So we'll go straight to race number 2. Maybe we can make our way through the card before that first race gets started so all those folks playing contests can have our thoughts in there. Free picks today at Delaware Park for all of our great friends out there in Turkey that love the Delaware Park track. Sloppy over there, too, as all that rain makes its way up the East Coast. So all you folks over there, stay dry. Of course, when the show is over, Terry will put all of our information over horseracingtoday.net, just like we do every day, along with our comments, a replay of the show. While you're there, hit on that HRT gear link. It's really important to help support the show. Get yourself a lucky number 7 shirt or a lucky number 1 hat, like we talked about yesterday with Mr. Terry. Indeed. All right, Terry. Well, race number 1 is not going to happen today. The jumpers aren't jumping because the races are off the grass. The track is muddy, but I did see the sun was out, so maybe later on the track gets upgraded. But right now, Terry, what are they going to start the day with?
Well, in that second race, it's a 6-furlong race. It's maiden. $80,000 purse for maiden fillies 2-year-olds.
Yes, indeed. And at 6 furlongs, the profile of a winner on the main track does favor early speed, a full 31%. Go gate to wire. Big time rail bonus. And then after that, 2 through 7, they play under par. 8 and out is the best place to be. In race number 2, Terry, we do 10,000 simulations. We want to see who has the best chance to get to the lead. You see that right here. We also want to see which horse has the best chance to get a trip that fits their comfort zone, hence the C zone. That's based upon our 10,000 simulations. We introduced this yesterday, the Q30 score, Terry. That's one where the horses have a high Q score. So the current points, if a horse has 30% of them, that's a horse that he says you can bet blindly in the book, The Complete Handicapper by James Quinn. And ordinarily over here, we have simulation odds. We want our odds to be lower than post-time odds, and then what percentage of the time a horse runs a speed figure of par or better, being 86 in this case. Most of these horses are making their second start. Terry, with the little bit of information that we have so far, what can you tell us?
Well, that 7 shows lots of speed, so it probably will get that quarter pole first, followed up by the 2. And then we weren't able to do the overlays or the pars, but the comfort zones 1, 7, 4, and 2 show all comfort zone numbers.
Yeah, and anything above 50 is kind of what we're looking for in there. Along with that, we do trip handicapping. The 6-horse Royal Princess going to go for the first time today, so we'll see what she can bring to the table. The 1, 3, 4, 5, they've not been within 5 lengths of the leader so far. So of all the horses that have run, only the 7, 2, and 8 have been close at the finish line. 7 can be maybe a little bit of flexibility. The 2 wants to be a pressure horse. The 8 came from off the pace. Looking at the early speed, 'Tis Purple, thankfully, the 2 that projects to be out front should be out there, although that closer Will Not Be Swayed won't be that far behind. Gerland's Empire right there, too, at the end of the race. Hold on, let me press the right button. Does look like Will Not Be Swayed. That one's got about a length more late speed than everybody else. Also grades out as your top total pace horse. 5 points clear of Will Not Be Swayed, which usually equates to about 1 length. According to pace, Will Not Be Swayed is a 1-length winner. Terry, what do you think?
I like Will Not Be Swayed, the 8. She ran second versus similar in her last or only start. She has the highest last race speed rating, and her best dirt speed is fast as among today's starters. Then 'Tis Purple, the 7's my second choice. Ran second versus similar in her only start. She has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 27% of the 2-year-old races that he has an entry in, and she has a high percentage winning jockey and a good workout on July 28th. I like 2, thankfully, as my third choice. Ran second versus similar in her only start, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. Then the 4, Gerland's Empire, is my long shot. Ran second in her last race, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. What we do is we get a $100 budget every day, and we bet $2 to win on our first choice, a $1 exacta box on our first 2, a 50-cent trifecta box on our first 3, and a 10-cent superfecta box on our first 4. And in this case, I think there's 8 races today. It's $8.40 a race. We originally were going to have $24, but I think we're going to have a little more than that, although I didn't use any of it. So there you go.
I didn't use any of the extra either, so I wasn't sure about that last race. And then I did see that, it happens. I'm going to start with Will Not Be Swayed. My question is between the 7 and the 8. Is the Toga debut horse or the Monmouth debut horse the one to back? I'm going to go with, I feel like better horses start at Saratoga. So I'm going to go with that. If not, Tis Not Purple, the 7 horse, is the Monmouth horse. That one, as you can see, good shot to get to the lead, pretty high Q score based upon one race. Whichever one of those two improves the most is your likely winner. The 6 horse, Royal Princess, is a the only first-time starter in here. Horse is working out fairly steadily, decent, strong workouts, not the fastest, not the slowest, but still within that 48-second range for 4 furlongs. And trainer Brittany Russell, if you haven't heard of her, the name you might want to watch, does hit at 22%, so a high number with horses that make their debut in the maiden special weight ranks. Then finally, the 2 horse, thankfully, was a really tough call for me over the 4 horse, Gerland's Empire, but the 2 horse thankfully ran in the mud in her debut and fired. So today it's a little bit of an off track, maybe responds better than the 4. We don't have an answer to that question. I'm going to spend a little bit of my money. I think it's $9, Terry. That is the 30-cent Superfect, the 7-8, the 7-8 over the 264 overall. I think that works out to like $9. May not pay much, but hopefully we get some long shots in the back half of that. Race number 3 on what is now a truncated 8-race card, Terry. What are they doing here?
7 furlongs, an allowance race, $50,000. It's a $70,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $50,000 or less, and which have never won a race other than a maiden or claiming.
And 7 furlong, the kind of horse that normally finds the winner's circle, does have early speed. In fact, a whole bunch. 44% wire-to-wire winner types. To get to the front, you got a great chance. Own the Field does get a little bit of a rail bonus, so if you can get some speed too, maybe look out for that one. 2 and 3 are slightly penalized. 4 through 7 a bonus, 8 and out worst, so a little bit of an accordion effect, but still the only maybe deal killer is on the outside there, Mr. Terry. So are there any in race number 3 with some jets?
The 2 has jets, as you can see, lots of jets, and followed up by that 3 horse. And then the 1 has an overlay from about 6 to 5 to 2 to 1. The 4 has an overlay from about 8 to 5, 7 to 2. The 1 and 4 have par plus numbers, and all but the 3 show C zones.
And again, here we see our Q score. We got one in here, Rider Special, that is a 31%, according to Mr. Quinn in his book, The Complete Handicapper. Anytime it tops 30%, you can back those blindly, but one of the things we saw yesterday when we introduced this is the horses that had high Q scores, but also a high probability to get to the lead fared very well. Let's see indeed if the 2 horse has a good shot to get to the lead here. The 2 and the 6, well, those 2 are going to maybe have they want the lead. The 8 wants to pressure. 1, 3, and 4 or 5 want to close. This usually favors horses that want to be forward. The distance favors horses that want to be forward. Master of Arms, the 2 horses a little bit faster than Dillinger to its outside. That 3 horse is a closer with early speed. We call those left arrow horses around here. And then the late speed at the end of the race, Rider Special, who will also be a part of that early mix. That's the most late speed. That one's about a length faster than everybody else. Top total pace, usually the top 4 produce the winner. I'd say in this case, Terry, looking at these numbers, the 4 horse with a 7-point advantage, that's usually enough to at least get close to getting the job done. Where do you put him?
Well, I like the 4 Rider Special. Ran second in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer whose horses win 24% of the starts in the second race after claiming a horse, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Then I like the number 1, Own the Field. He finished 3rd in his last race as a favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 21% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back to race again, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Master of Arms, the 2 is my 3rd choice, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. My long shot is Dillinger, the 3, won his last race at Saratoga by 8 lengths, and he has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 25% of the dirt start. that has an entry in and has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play a Miami Vice pick 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the 9, 10 with the 3, 4, 6, 8 with the 1, 2, 8. I think that's a $48 ticket.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to start where you left off with Dillinger. Heck, I'm from Chicago, so I have to back a Dillinger horse, right? It's also a left arrow horse, one that should be forward today. And as you mentioned, Terry, last time out, it absolutely obliterated the competition. Does have a maintenance work, and it's been my experience when a horse wins by that kind of a margin, another race of similar proportions, hopefully a similar ass kicking, is coming today. Own the Field, the one horse, is next up on my board. Resume says it's reasonable to expect this horse to have its best effort in a third start after a layoff. That's today, and all of the race internals improved last time out. Number 4, Rider Special. Is that Q30 horse in there, Mr. Terry? Question is, does he get the lead? If so, a very probable wire-to-wire candidate. Master of Arms, though, is that likely pace setter, as we see here from our simulations, 10,000 of them. Also has a high Q score, has a higher C-zone score, very consistent performer, one of those horses that seems to run the same race over and over and over again. Like you, I'm going to start my pick 4 with the 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to go 2, 3, 10, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 4, and 10 on the back end. So some opportunities for us to be the same in our pick 4 and some opportunities for us to be different. Race 4, Terry, what are the conditions here?
All right, let's see here. In race 4, we're going to go to a mile. It was on the turf, so now it's off the turf. So anyway, it's for allowance race, $110,000 purse. It's for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $20,000 other than maiden, claiming, starter, or state bred allowance, or which have never won 2 races.
And a mile, there will be a few of them today thanks to cancellations off the turf, as well as scheduled ones at a mile. What you want is a stalker, but still 35% managed to go to the lead and stay on the lead all the way around to the finish wire. There's a big rail bonus for It's All Coming Together. 2 and 7, 2 through 7, they play fair. So far, nobody that's wore a number 8 or higher, or post position 8 or higher, has managed to score. So it looks like you want to be on the inside 7, particularly with speed in race number 4, Terry. A lot of scratches here, so anybody has a shot. Looks like one of them is going to be the fastest, though, with all the other horses out.
That's it. That 3 shows a lot of speed. The only thing that's close to it is 8. And then the 3 shows an overlay from about almost, 9 to 2 to 12 to 1. 10, 3, and 2 show par plus numbers, and all of them have C zones.
Again, just to reiterate what a par plus number is, since we couldn't really cover it in the first race, 10,000 simulations. In 6,100 of those simulations where we project out a speed figure, Classic Legacy put together a speed figure of at least 91. So that's a pretty big number of those simulations that horse were able to score what's necessary to win, or at least the average winning race. Most of these horses want to be middle forward. The 9 horse from another mother, that one is a EP type. So if the 3 and 8 go too slow, that one can keep the tempo honest. If they go too fast, it can be patient and try to get a better positioning than the 9, the 10, or the 12. The 2 horses, your lone closer in here, Terry. When the gates open, it does look like Aberdeen, the one that we see in our simulations, is about 3/4 of a length faster than everybody else. To the inside, the only horse, Victor's Valiant, should have no problem clearing and get to the lead early. The end of the race, Classic Legacy, is the one that will be coming the hardest. Should be pretty close up front as well. Top total pace horse score does go to the 10 horse, Classic Legacy, and then Aberdeen. From here, it sure looks like the 10 sits in one of the shotgun positions, waits to come out of the turn, hits the afterburners, and runs away with the win. Terry, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Anyway, I like in this race the number 10 horse, Classic Legacy. Ran second versus similar in his last race on the dirt, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. From Another Mother is the 9, my second choice, won his last race at Aqueduct, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Victor's Valiant is my 2 horse, which is my third choice, ran second versus similar in his last race. and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Long shot is 3. He ran third versus similar his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No additional bets for me here.
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, I think the 10 horse just sits right off the pace, waits patiently when the time comes, turns on the afterburners, and goes to the front because it could be contentious up early. It does have the late legs and that one length late race advantage over the rest. Victor's Valiant will definitely be coming on at the end of this race as well, and did run some quicker fractions last out, usually an indication of a horse coming to form. Aberdeen, the 3 horse. This is your front runner in all likelihood, folks. Improved early pace through the first half mile, which is an indication of a horse on the rise as well. And then finally, number 9, From Another Mother. Everybody wants to say that. Good workout between races. The question for me is, this is the second start after a layoff, and this is one of those horses that either pops or drops in a big way in the second up. So if we get the pop horse, could be your winner. If we get the drop horse, it might be dead last. The middle of the card continues right now with the 5th race.
Yes, and then in that 5th race was on the turf, but now has been taken off. It's still run at 5.5 furlongs on the main track. It's an optional claiming race, $80,000 claiming price. If you like to put your horse in there to possibly be claimed, purse $120,000 for fillies and mirrors, 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won $20,000 3 times, other than maiden claiming starter or state bred allowance, or which have never won 4 races, or which have not won $45,000 in 2024, or optional claiming race price of $80,000. Whew.
Yeah, you got a lot there. None of the horses are in for a price today, so you couldn't buy them if you want, because if they were in for a price, the number would be right here. It's not on any of the horses. So when you're looking through the program, at least for Brisnet, you want to see if the horse is available to be bought in these optional races. This is where you would find that 80,000 number. We don't have data for 5.5 furlongs on the main track, so I would suggest that in all likelihood it'll look a lot like 6 furlongs, except a little bit more favorable for speed, Terry. And then if that's the case, again, we find one horse in here that's a little bit quicker than all of the rest.
Yeah, that 3 horse has all the speed in the world. Followed it up by let's see, which by the 6 horse. Yeah, 6 horse. I'm sorry. And the 4, let's see, the 4 has an overlay from 5.5 to 1. I'm sorry, 6 to 1 to 10 to 1. The 5 has an overlay from 9 to 5 to 6 to 1, and the 8 has an overlay from just a small overlay, around 9 to 2 to 4 to. Well, 7 to 2 to 4 to 1. And all of them show par plus numbers, and they all have C zones. So
again, we're looking for a C zone score of 50% or more. That's typically means half of the time when we did our projections, the pace favored or matched closely some of the horses' best performances. We got 2 horses in here that have solid Q30 scores, again, acquiring most of the points. I think yesterday when we did it at Horseshoe Indianapolis, in the last 3 races, those high Q score horses that had a good chance to get to the lead won them all. So the one that might fit that is Lady Milagro, so the Miracle Lady. Let's see if the Miracle Lady will be anywhere near the front today in race number 5. This race does want to be up front, although no real pure closers in here. The 4 and 5 have some versatility as PC types. Early on, it does look like everybody, at least these 3 horses, are going to get after it. So the 5 horse becomes a left arrow horse. Really not a big gap from top to bottom, about 2 lengths. And then as far as the late speed is concerned, the 8 horse should be able to make up maybe a length and a half. Everyone loves Linda, so might have to scoot a little bit forward today. That versatility, though, should allow it to be in a great position. Looking at our top total pace, you've only got 5 points separating top to bottom. That basically means it's anybody's race, Terry. So how did you order them?
Okay, well, in this race here, I like number 4, L Street Lady. She finished 3rd on the dirt in her last race and has high percentage winning jockey and trainer. 8, Everyone Loves Linda is my second choice. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer. Lady Milagro. The 3 is my third choice. She ran 2nd on the dirt in her last race and has a bullet workout on August 2nd. Speedy Traveler, the 6 is my long shot. Won 3 starts out of the 4 career races, and she drops in class today and can improve at the shorter distance. No additional bets for me here.
And then in this race, our good friend, Horse Racing 2024, he says in race 5, anybody but the 8 horse. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like Linda. Linda broke his heart somewhere along the way. I'm going to go with the 6 horse in here, Speedy Traveler, as my top selection. Speedy Traveler has a good shot to be up front. If not, it's going to ride in that shotgun position with a decent Q score, the highest Q score of all. But as long as the track remains an off track, the horse has 2 wins in 2 races when getting a little bit of moisture in the dirt. Unsung Melody, the 5 horse, didn't even make Terry's picks. It's my second choice in here. Upped its speed figure in the last 3 races and did score the top last race speed figure by 7 points over the next closest competitor with all the scratches. Anytime you're 3 points or more, according to the Godfather, Andrew Beyer of Speed Figures, that's a horse you better pay special attention to. Number 3, Lady Milagro, most likely to get to the front, and of the pace setters, does have the highest Q score. And then finally, Everybody Loves Linda. Well, except for Horse Racing 2024. But nonetheless, Linda Rice wanted to be, okay, it's Everybody Loves Linda horse, trained by Linda Rice. She wanted to be on the main track today, hoping probably it would be an off track. This horse has made it on a wet track 3 times, a couple of wins and a second. So clearly another that doesn't mind mud being kicked up in its face. Race 6 starts the late pick 4, Mr. Terry. How are they going to kick this one off?
Okay, it's a 1 mile race, purse $45,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, who have never won 2 races, and it's a claiming race, $25,000 claiming price.
Yes, and in order to get that second win at a mile, as we mentioned, stalkers do good, but still a bunch. More than 1 out of 3 get the win, wire to wire. Big time rail bonus for Moonlit Weekend. 2 through 7 play fair. Again, those horses that are post position 8 or out, they've really struggled to find the winner's circle. Haven't managed to do it so far. We do have 9 horses in here. So these outside 3, or these outside 2, well, yeah, we'll have a hard time of it. So that'd be 8 and 9. So 9 and 10 might have their work cut out for them, Terry. That not being said, 2 of them look like they won't have their work cut out getting to the lead.
Nope, the 8 and the 5 have really similar speed ratings, and they should go head to head to that quarter pole if they both get a good clean break. 2 has an overlay from 5.5 to 1 to 6 to 1. The 4 has an overlay from about 3 to 1 to 9 to 2. The 2 and the 4 show par plus numbers, and all but the 1 show C zones.
Very strong C zone across the board. This should be a pace that sets nicely for everybody. Maybe this might be one of those what they call jockey races. And if you look at this, it's perfectly balanced. 3 on the front, 3 in the middle, 3 in the back. Again, subscribing to the theory that the jockeys might be able to pull this one off. Grammy Girl, along with Franny Lou, those 2 have the most early speed, a little bit quicker than everybody else. So one of those 2, I would guess the 8, because it might be more lead dependent than the 5. They should go out as pilot and co-pilot. And Bump in the Nights, Backstretch Rose, and Raining at the Beach. They're all about 3/4 of a length faster than everybody else, and they're going to be in the back of the pack. So you're going to have plenty of ground to make up at the end of the race. Looks like Moonlit Weekend, Franny View, La Vita Sofita, and Grammy Girl are your top 4. Again, the winner, about 3 out of 4 times, a little less than that, comes from that group right there. Terry, looks like you got a lot of those in your group too.
I do, but I'm going to start out with the 2 horse Raining at the Beach. She won her last race at Saratoga. She has the highest last speed rating, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. Moonlight Weekend, the 1 is my second choice. She ran second versus similar in her last race. The rail post is winning at a 30% clip, and she has a trainer wins 20% of the claiming races that he has an entry in, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. The 8 Grammy Girl is my third choice. She has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 25% of the races when taking a horse down 2+ classes, and she has a high percentage winning jockey and a good workout on July 28th. The 10 Backstretch Rose is my long shot. She should improve while returning to the dirt. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 37% of the races when taking a horse down 2+ classes, and has a bullet workout on August 1st. I'm going to play the last pick 4. I'm going to use the 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, and 10 with the 3, 8, 10, 11, with the 2, 3, and then the 6, 11, another $48 ticket.
I will begin with the 2-horse 2, Raining at the Beach. Nobody likes when it's raining at the beach, except if the horse gets to the finish line first when you back it. It does have the most upside potential, in my view, in the race, making just her 4th start. And last time out in the 3rd start, managed to run the top last race speed figure. So any improvement off of that, and everybody else will have to come up quite a bit. I know Backstreet Rose suffers from that outside post position, but she's making a sizable class drop. And I do like the Saratoga workout, a bullet on August the 1st. Maybe one of those horses where the light has clicked on. La Vita Sofia, the 4-horse, is my 3rd choice. It is a class dropper. Just missed it the last time that this horse ran in the muddy conditions. And 2 of the 3 horses that finished in front of her in that race came back to win. So that would be what you call a key race. Moonlight Weekend, the 1-horse, my final selection here, was a very difficult call for me over Grammy Girl. But I'm going to lean towards that big-time rail bonus. And this horse ran at this level last out and just missed. So very competitive for the conditions. 1, 2, 4, 10, 3, 5, 8, 11, 1, 2, 3, and then 6, 11 for my last pick 4 of this day. Terry, end of this week, since tomorrow we'll be off. Friday, no form Friday. I'll be traveling. And then probably 70% will return back to schedule as normal on Monday. But in order to know, follow us on our social sites, Terry, and where can they do that?
At a YouTube channel, and they can hit the little, subscribe to our YouTube channel, then hit the little bell that'll tell them when our programs are going to be happening. Go down to the bottom and copy the link and share it with all their friends, neighbors, and relatives, just so that everybody can come and check us out. I know they're going to like what they see here. And go to our social sites at Horse Race, the number 2 day, and give us the likes and thumbs up at Facebook, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, and X. It really helps us out. Yeah, it helps us out with the algorithms. So.
Indeed. 3 races to go on this hump day. That means race number 7 is where we're going to go next.
All right. Race 7 is a 6 furlong race for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 2 races.
Yeah, and again, at 6 furlongs to get that coveted 2nd win, you're looking at early speed, a little less than 1 out of 3. Wire-to-wire types. Again, we see Boom Boom Thunder getting a big rail bonus in there, Terry. 2 through 7, they're under par. The best place to be in this case, unlike some of the other races, is really on the outside. So are there any Buffalo girls in race number 7 with speed on the outside?
Well, the 11 shows some speed out there, but that 3 shows the most speed on the inside there. And then the 3 has an overlay of 4 to 5 to 6 to 1. The 9 has an overlay from 7.5 to 1 to 12 to 1. The 3 shows the only par plus number, and all the horses show C zone, although that 2 is pretty low.
Yeah, looking at our Q scores here and all these numbers, it looks like this one could be really contentious early on. A lot of horses with an ability to get forward, a lot of them with similar type Q scores. Let's see if that's how it plays out in our pace setup. Look at that, Terry. A whole bunch of horses might be lead dependent. That could open up nicely for the 10. Well, they got 4 outside horses, the 8, 9, 10, and 11. Let's see. Early on, it does look like, wow, look at that, Terry. You have pretty much all of them within 9 points. A bump, get forced wide, a tough trip could be the difference, really, between being first or worst at the quarter-mile marker and at the finish line. So you better have some ability at the end of the race. Unclenched. Uncle Charlie's Gift. All right. A little bit quicker than everybody else down the stretch, but not a whole lot of difference. Again, you see a bunch of horses in here that aren't all that far off of each other. So they should be able to hang on if you get forward with enough of pace. On the ledge is 5 points clear of Uncle Charlie's Gift. 5 points, that equals about 1 length. Usually enough to be very competitive for the win, Terry, and you think it's going to be more than competitive for the win. It's your pick of the day to win.
It is. Yeah. Number 3 on the ledge is my pick of the day. Won his last race at Aqueduct. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. And then I like the 11 as my second choice, finished 3rd in his last race.
You don't want to try to pronounce that one?
Neuschwanstein.
Neuschwanstein.
Yeah. Anyway, he switches to high percentage winning jockey and has a good workout on July 27th. Uncle Charlie's Gift, the 8 is my third choice, finishing the money in the last 3 starts, finishing third versus similar in the last race, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Giants Fire, the 10 is my long shot. He ran second versus similar in his last race and has a good 4 furlong workout on August 2nd. I'm going to bet $14 to win on the number 3 horse, and then a $5 exacta, 3 on top with the 8 and 11 in the second place.
I really get a kick out of people naming their horses New Schwanstein. I mean, I guess the people who review those aren't really familiar with the Urban Dictionary, though I suspect they might consider using it going forward.
Yeah.
All right, On the Ledge is also my top pick. Not my top pick of the day, but does have that top total pace score of 5 points. Rerun the last race, and that one wins again. But my concern here is that horse came back to run its top speed figure after more than a year in the barn. It's susceptible to some regression today. Uncle Charlie's Gift, 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row. That's another one of those Barry Meadows, 15% or more angles. We'll have more on those once our data sheets are available in full. This is going to make a huge jump today, potentially, because the only other time that this horse made it 2 races in a row without going to the barn, it really expanded its ability in round 2. Number 5, Royal King, my third choice. That's what Richard means, Royal King. It is a class dropper. It is one of the few horses in this race that's actually got a par race on its record. And on an off track, 2 times out, a win and a second. Everything else out 9 times, only 1 win. So clearly another one that prefers a little bit of moisture in the track. And then the New Schweinsteiner. This one's running the lowest level of its career today, and the NYRA Jockey of the Year after year after year after year after year, Irad Ortiz gets the mount. So they're about to get mounted up and ready for race number 1 as they are getting into the gates. We're actually race number 2.
Yep.
They started putting a few in there. Right now, that 8 horse will not be swayed. The bettors won't be swayed off of that one, it looks like, because it is your 2 to 5 favorite. They had the Coerce, the 2 horse, which is your second choice right now, at 5 to 1 into the gates. That 7 horse is one of those really nice looking gray horses in there. They have upgraded the track to good already. I don't know if I think I saw more rain showers potentially in Saratoga Springs today. The 2 horse jockey getting on. That would be Javier Castellano, the favorite. They're circling around behind the gates. I don't know. That 2 horse might delay the opening a little bit. He's not all that happy today at all. Thankfully, it's like, I don't want to run today. Leave me alone. I want to go back to the barn and eat some peppermints. Them horses love those peppermints. Have you seen that ever?
Yeah, yeah.
Those little red and white candies. My God, they love those things. I'm wondering if they're going to scratch that horse. The veterinarian's looking at it right now. They're taking a look at it. He's pretty calm now out of the gates, kind of huffing and puffing a little bit. Looks like he's chirping at the jockey assistants. Are they going to take the are they taking the apron? No, he's like, no. He's not having any of it today. Animals. Gotta love animals, no?
Yep.
Yep, it looks to me like they're going to scratch that too, folks. So we're going to have a little bit of a delay. Is that what they're doing with the 2 horse? Are they scratching him? What's he doing over here? Yeah, I think they're scratching because they took the apron off. Yep. So late 2 scratch. So let's go ahead and do race number 8 then, right, Terry?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll have time to do it while they get the gates resettled to be open. So the beginning of the late Daily Double is a stakes race, the lone one on the card today.
Yep, it's a 1 mile race. It's $125,000 purse handicap for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward, which are foaled in New York State and approved by the New York State Registry.
Yeah, the track is definitely drying out. 4 horse looks pumped. He was ready to go. He's ready to go for horse race 24. 1 mile, as we mentioned, again, stalking trips. You want to be middle forward, but it is beneficial to be on the lead. A bunch, 35 out of 100 of them go to the lead, stay on the lead, and never give it up. Sunset Louise gets the bonus 2 through 7. They play fair 8 and out. Nobody's won. That's not an issue in this race because there are only 5 horses, Terry, and all of them have some chance to get to the lead.
That's right, but the 2 and the 5 show the most speed. They may go head to head to that quarter pole, and then that 2 has an overlay from about 3 to 5 to 7 to 5. The 5 has an overlay from 5 to 1, 8 to 1, 2, 5, and 1 show par plus numbers, and all but the 2 show C zones.
And 2 of them, the 4 and the 5, being above 50%. In this handicapped race, 3 forward, 2 back. Maybe this 4 horse could get a great trip, although the 3 and 5 has some versatility as well. The 1 could be lead dependent. If he doesn't get the lead, Bustin Bay sure does look like he's quicker, as well as Sterling Silver, Maggie's Palace. So if the 1 does get to the lead, look out. If the fractions are at all sharp, that one's likely to back up a little bit. At the end of the race, Sterling Silver has an incredible advantage over the rest, about 2 lengths. Won't be more than 2 lengths off the pace here. It is also your top total pace horse, 14 points clear of Bustin Bay. That's usually more than enough to win, and usually going to merit odds somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 5, maybe lower, Terry. We have it at about 3 to 5 as fair value. I would be surprised if we even get that.
Yeah, it's my first choice. She drops in class today. Her best start speed is fast among today's starters. She has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 22% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route. Has a high percentage winning jockey, Smoking Hot Kitty. The 3 is my second choice, won 4 starts out of the last 5 races, including the last start at Saratoga, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 5, Bustin Bay, is my next choice. She has finished in the money in 5 out of 6 starts, winning 2 of those starts, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. My long shot is the 4, Maggie's Palace. Won her last race at Aqueduct, and she has a high percentage winning jockey.
So race number 2, the opener today, is off and running. And the 7 horse has crept its way to the lead. It is Purple. And to its outside is the 8 horse, with the 1 horse on the rail as they make their way down this backstretch to the turn. The 7 horse, Tis Purple, continues to lead the way. It looks to me like the 8 horse has moved up alongside that horse. Just around the corner they come. The 7 horse at 5 to 1, continuing to lead the 1 to 4 favorite. I wonder if they're working too hard. 22.5 in that opening quarter, although nobody's really making up any ground on the 2 front runners. The 7 horse has cut the corner pretty cleanly, I would say. The 8 horse is still trying to make up that ground, still kind of running like it's looking at the training horse there, the what do they call it, the exercise pony. 7 horse kind of tugging away a little bit there, Terry. So it looks to me like it's going to go 7. And then it's funny, 7, 8, 3, 4. 7, 8, 3, 4. I needed that 4 to finish third to get my trifecta, but the 3 would have been the superfecta, would have been my next pick. So I should get that one. But anyway, 7 is your winner, Terry. Did get to the front, as we mentioned. If you look, Terry, too, I just want to point out one more time that this is becoming too big of a trend to ignore, I feel like, Terry. You had a 26% Q score, which is a high number. Mm-hmm. With the 2 horse scratching out, that number clearly would go higher. And then top C zone, most likely to get to the lead. And what did it do?
It got to the lead and won.
And went wire to wire. And we saw that yesterday over and over and over again. So we're going to be focusing more and more on these horses because they could prove to be great horses for singles. They could prove to be, when you do those tournaments like Scary Creations on horse tourneys, the type of horses that if you can get good odds on them, and heck, in that race you had what? 4 to 1?
Yeah, no, 5 to 1.
5 to 1. That's despite the 2 scratching.
Yeah.
That's a $12 winner on top.
Yeah, 5 to 1, I think.
It was all right there. All right. So real quick, race 8, my picks. I'm going to go with the 2, the 3, the 1, and the 5. The 2 horse, Sterling Silver, coming down from a grade 2, has all the race advantages over everybody else. This should be one of the best races of its current race cycle. Smoking Hot Kitty has the best chance to get to the lead and maybe keep the lead and go wire to wire. 3 races at the distance for Smoking Kitty and won every single one of them. Sunset Louise, the 1 horse, does get that rail. Won 4 or 6 on an off track. It may not be an off track by the time we get there. Just 1 win in 8 races at any other condition. Finally, Bustin Bay should be fit in her 3rd start after a layoff and does get the benefit today of jockey Irad Ortiz. Our last race for this week, Mr. Terry, is race number 9. Another one that was supposed to be on the turf that got moved to a mile on the track.
Yeah, that's right. It used to be a mile 16th, but now it's a mile on the main track, and it's a maiden claiming race, $40,000 claiming price. First $55,000 for maidens 3-year-olds and upward.
Yes, let's see. We have a mile again. Speed, as we mentioned, 35% wire to wire. You still want to be forward. Does indeed look like there's a rail bonus. All these horses are scratched out. So Pujol is the one that is on the lead, right on the rail, sort of. 2 through 7 play fair. The outside horses haven't won yet. Terry, from post position 8 or out. In this race, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13. So we have exactly 8 horses, maybe Crusading, tough trip on the outside. Neither one of us have him, but he doesn't have any speed either. All that speed scratched out, and really only one looks like it has speed left.
That's right, the 6, and it doesn't show a lot, but it does have some speed. The 5 has an overlay from almost 5 to 1 to 8 to 1. The 11 has an overlay from even money to about 7 to 5. And then 6, 11, and 5 show par plus numbers. All but the 5 show C-zone.
Again, we're looking for 50% or more, so a bunch of them meeting that threshold. Our last trip handicap of the week. All these closers, a couple that want to be forward. Folks, when you line them up like that, especially at a distance that favor speed, you should be circling the speed horses. Looks like Riverwalk on the inside, on the post 6, along with Crusading all the way on the outside, are your 2 fastest horses. Bearing should be in that mix, and then there's a pretty big drop-off. So I would expect the 6, the 11, and the 13 to set the tone when the gates open as they come home for the last race today. Bounteous. That one's about a little more than a length faster than the rest. Could be about a length and a half, 2 lengths off the lead, maybe more at the beginning. We'll have to make up some ground in the middle of the race. It's also your top total pace horse, a little bit better than Bearings, Riverwalk. A little bit of a drop off there to Crusading. So maybe these 3 horses is where the winner will be found. Terry, 2 of those 3 are in. Well, all 3 of those are in your picks.
Yeah, that's true. They certainly are. I like that 11 Bearings. Ran 3rd versus in his last race and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Riverwalk, the 6, drops in class today, has his high percentage winning trainer and has a high percentage winning jockey in addition to that. Bullet Workout on July 28th. The 5 Bounteous is the 3rd choice, drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer. Alcran.
He's not in the race. He's scratched out.
Oh, the 3 is scratched. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Who would you like in its place?
Well, let me look here real quick. I didn't realize the 3 was scratched. I like 6 or I don't know. I don't have an alternate. So
no alternate for you there?
Yeah, I have to look. I'd have to look real quick because they scratched everything else of mine out. So
well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Well, maybe you can go with the 10 or 12. I have those horses next up in line for me. I'm going to go with the 6 horse as my top selection in here. That one is Riverwalk, dropping in class. Since its last race has consecutive bullet workouts, by far the best published workouts we've seen of that horse. Another one of those horses where maybe the lights have come on. 11 Bearings, first off the claim for trainer Rob Altras. And if you followed his career as a Roberto Tino Diodoro coaching tree member, they like to claim horses and send them to the front. I think that's what you'll see Bearings do today. The 10 horse Fire Baron is always very close at the end. I think this one fills the exacta or trifecta or superfecta today, maybe at a nice price too. And then True Connection. Dylan Davis has been on fire, sparking the love and attention of Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. Maybe this is the win for him today, particularly if the track can stay wet, because 3 times out, 2nd and a 3rd, anytime that horse has run on a fast surface, has missed the money. No more bets for me in race number 12. Race number 9, because I am out of money too, Terry. There are full picks for today. Race 1, that one's off the books. There was supposed to be 2 and 3/8 miles for the grass jumpers, and they didn't win or run. The 7 horse was your winner, paid $13 in the opening leg. 8 horse ran second. Here are picks for the rest of today and the rest of this week. Again, we'll be back most likely on Monday with, I think Ellis Park runs on Monday again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll be the case there. A little later on, or perhaps going on right now. Yes, indeed, Delaware Park. Free track today over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description below. In just a few moments, we will have all of our comments, notes, and a show replay over at horseracingtoday.net. Click on that HRT gear there. Support the show with a lucky number 7 shirt, or if you think 13 is your lucky number, you can get that one. That's a nice looking one too in brown. All right, Terry, that wraps it up for this week. Any final thoughts from you before we part ways?
Just stay safe. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next week.
Indeed. No matter what you're doing on this hump day, I'm sure you're spending some of it at Saratoga. Good luck with your bets there. All the endeavors that you're chasing in life. And this Wednesday be filled with God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing you do from now until we see each other again ends up in
The winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us today. Make it a blessed day.